Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to another RPG News Roundup, this time for April 13th, 2024, where each week I take a look back at the week in tabletop, computer, and console role-playing game news and bring you the highlights. With that, let's dive right in and take a look at computer and console role-playing game news. The Last Spell is getting a new DLC on April 24th called The Dwarves of Runenburg. It will add a new map, including monster-spawning statues and a playable dwarven character class. There will be a new perk system as well as 3 new weapon types as well. The Last Spell is a tactical role-playing game that has been available on the PC, PS4, PS5, and the Switch since last year. Front Mission 2 Remake looks like it's getting released on a number of additional platforms. Although originally released on the Switch, April 30th will see it released for the PC, the PS4, the PS5, and the Xbox One, as well as the Series X/S. It is a remake of a PlayStation 1 era game. Gestalt Steam and Cinder is set to hit the PC on May 21st. There is a demo available. It is a side-scrolling platform Metroidvania with RPG elements. Supposedly there will be a console release at some point, although no further information is available on that. Sunnyside is set to release on the PC on May 24th and on consoles on July 10th. It will be a farming sim with a social sim elements, combat, and exploration aspects, where you start with some land in the Japanese countryside and develop your homestead. Vampire Survivors, the roguelike bullet hell style game, is going to be launching on the PS4 and the PS5 this summer. Those versions will include all of the updates and will allow you to purchase all 4 existing DLCs as well as an additional DLC, Operation Guns. Darkest Dungeon 2 is getting a free update, which will be released later this year. It will add a new Kingdoms campaign mode, which will let you deal with a new threat before it overwhelms the entire kingdom. You have to basically go to point to deal with things. Slay the Spire 2 is in development. It will apparently get an early access release in 2025, set 1,000 years after the first one, and will feature new slayers, cards, mechanics, and so forth. Pardon me. Vagras, the Riven Realms, will be getting a new DLC. It will be called Old Acquaintances and introduce 2 new companions as well as quests, enemies, and hireling additions. No release date has yet been set. It's good to see this one still getting DLC. Echoes of Elysium has been announced. It will be developed for the PC, although a release window is not yet set. It will be an action-adventure game with open-world survival and RPG elements in the heavens of a mythical ancient Greece where you play a hero entrusted with the fate of the world. It will also include airships, because, hey, when we think of ancient Greece, we think airships. As far as actual releases go, Broken Road saw its release. It is a party-based RPG set in a post-apocalyptic version of the Australian outback. It looks like it had a bit of a rocky release with things such as bugs and some issues with the basic design being the primary complaints. You know, we'll see how it goes. Shadow of Azrael 2 looks like it is a 2D platform with action RPG elements. It is just released into early access, and as you playing various unique characters, fighting against combatants that can fly, shoot beam attacks, and so on. Rainbow Yggdrasil saw its release. My voice to text said Rainbow Yugoslav. I know it's Rainbow Yggdrasil. It is a traditional roguelike with a focus on color-changing aspects. It has a scenario mode with a total of 30 dungeons as well as auto-generated dungeons. Inkbound is a turn-based tactical roguelike. It supports solo or co-op play. Set in a world of dangerous magic, you go on a quest to save the stories of Athenium as they come to life. Amulet is a traditional hack-and-slash RPG. It is set in early access and has a minimalist inventory, a pure loot system rather than a level-up system, with a dynamic class system that relies on items and so forth. It's one of those your inventory and equipment are your class kind of games. Age of Fear 5, The Day of the Rat, is another entry into the Age of Fear series. This one, they are all turn-based strategy games. This one features an undead king who has met his end and now a mercenary leader in the Undead Legion. Must balance his need for revenge with a thirst for wealth and power. It looks like you played the evil guys this time. Finally, there is Our Adventure Guild, which lets you be a new guildmaster of an adventurers guild and lead your adventurers on explorations and turn-based battles. It looks like a tactical RPG. With that, let's take a look at tabletop role-playing game news. It looks like Arc Dream is going to be developing an RPG based on Glenn Cook's Black Company. It will be written by Delta Green's Shane Ivory and Dennis Ditwiller. It looks like it will be using a brand new game engine, although there is no release date set yet. Magnetic Press is working on Planet of the Apes, the role-playing game. It would be based on a version of the D6 system created by West End Games back in the 1980s. Parabellum Consulting has purchased the late James M. Ward's Metamorphosis Alpha, as well as some of his other IP. It looks like they're going to be planning several Kickstarter projects for previously unpublished work, as well as some new additions for some of the previously published material, so we should be seeing some of that hit market soon. Well, soon is relative. Onward towards minor and PDF releases, it looks like this week several developers have put out entire strings of adventure releases. So when I come to those, I'll pretty much breeze through some of them very quickly, just naming the titles and so forth. For instance, Mammoth Factory has a number of adventures for 5th edition out. There is Coils of Dread, Court of the Sunless King, Land of the Blind, Titan Tides, The Burning Dead, Mark of the Beast, Dracklings of Dragon's Keep, Smokestorm Siege, and then some minor one-shots like Judgment of the Dragon, Grave of Misgivings, Kingdoms of the Waste, and The Prison Without Walls. So you can see how they just drop a whole bunch of them out. AAW Games saw a few entries into their Mini Dungeon series of short 5th edition adventures. There's Mini Dungeon 304, Secret of the Underforged, and Mini Dungeon 305, Tomb of the Forgotten. Grim Press has a few entries into their Cavern Crawl series of 5th edition dungeon crawls. Cavern Crawls number 40 is Water Thief, number 41. Number 42 is Withering Sanctum, and I believe they've got another one of their bundles that can combine 5 of them in one. Adventure Ripples has a couple of 5th edition adventures out. There's Kidnapped Heiress and Cursed by Moonlight. Critical Crafting has Edge of Nowhere, a 5th edition supplement that deals with heroes, villains, and more, offering various Wild West-themed stat blocks and a desert-themed adventure, as well as supplemental materials for it, such as a new subclass, new player race, new items, firearms, ammunition types, spells, so on. They also have Madness of Ashiaglin, which deals with horror-based heroes and villains, specifically cosmic horror. It includes various encounters, some Lovecraftian, and with stats, new game mechanics, a new subclass, new player race, new items, spells, feats, and so on. Eric Blaney has a few 5th edition adventures. There is Plague of Kettlebrook and the Unquiet Stone. I believe one's a one-shot and one can be a few sessions long. Roll for Gaming has a pair of 5th edition adventures in a Wonder 3 series, which I assume deals with the area they're around. There's Toddler in Trouble, and then Motherly Mists Match, which follow one right after the other. Zoth Publishing has Swords of Zimbala, a sword and sorcery style 5th edition adventure module inspired by pulp era stuff. Tower of the Rogue Wizard is a 5th edition adventure meant to be replayable and focuses on a tower full of mimics. Or a tower with various mimics, I don't know if it's full of them. The Lobster is a one-shot 5th edition adventure with a comedy and seaside theme. Necromancer Games has The Meadow Queen. It is available in 5th edition Castles and Crusades format and deals with an annual celebration of love and life which has gone wrong. Raging Swan Press has the Decaying Citadel of the Fated Warlock, which is a dungeon backdrop that offers a sort of citadel dungeon sinking into a salt mire. It is available in 5th edition, Pathfinder 1st and 2nd editions, OSR, and system-neutral versions. Heron Drake's Return is a 5th edition dark fantasy campaign that offers 3 linked adventures made for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd tier of play, as well as the building blocks needed to craft your own quest between them, and focuses on the story of a villain held captive within a void. Eyes Wide Open in the Town of Wake is a 5th edition adventure dealing with a city where sleep can lead to death. It is available in a standard and a collector's edition version, although how you make a collector's edition off of a PDF, I don't know. Chamomile has Tactical Doctrine, Rat King. It is a 5th edition compatible supplement that features rat folk and sewers along with a tactical rogue class and some rat-based creatures for the GM. Contact Other Plane, World of the Old Scrolls, one from Orphan Bookworm, offers 9 new spells, some weapon properties, and 11 new creatures inspired by the Elder Scrolls video games in 5th edition format. A Player's Guide to Bardic Rhymes offers 100 plus rhymes for bard spells just to use them, just rhymes that you can use while casting bard spells, which, I mean, theoretically should be system neutral, but, I mean, how many systems have bards that cast specifically bard spells? Anyway, Gaming Brew has the Dragon Trainer class for 5th edition. It includes a few subclasses, including the Dragon Knight, Dragon Mage, and Dragon Rider. Peril on the Silver Path is an adventure for Shadow Dark RPG. It deals with a missing wizard and a village under threat. Tower of the Spectral Sorceress is another Shadow Dark adventure. This one deals with a covenant of casters who accidentally unleashed a necromantic cataclysm that transformed them into specters. Codex Officium offers 2 new classes for Shadow Dark. There is the Assassin, Crusader, Knight, Thaumaturge, Troubadour, and the Revenant. Elven Tower has a number of offerings out. There's Dungeon Vault Magazine number 44, 5th edition, and Shadow Dark, that deals with orcs as well as orc-related adventures in material. They also have a series of one-page adventures suited for a number of systems: A Wager for Might, Poison Candy, The Hierarch's Sepulchre, and Dissolved in Acid. First Hungarian D20 Society has a couple of adventures for Osric and similar OSR systems. The first is Cloister the Frog God, which is originally published as a chapter in Frog God Games' Rapanathuk, and now combined when printed alone as a standalone with permission. Then there's Webs of the Past and Present, takes characters to a ruined palace. The Mad Hermit's Almanac, Issue 3, offers a complete adventure module called the Dock Prowler's Initiation Ring. It is suited for any OSR system. Populated Hexes Monthly, Issue 32, is available in print as it's suited for old school essentials and similar systems. It takes a brief look at a steps area and a number of artifacts and artifact-related rules. Sword of the Dragon Slayer is an adventure suited for old school essentials. It is suited for level 4 to 6 characters and features a town threatened by a dragon once thought slain by a hero who subsequently perished. Swords and Stones, version 5.4, is an alternate game guide to use as a fantasy tabletop RPG or as an add-on to another OSR system, set in an alternate universe where heroes do not naturally exist, or humans do not naturally exist, not heroes, humans. Maze's Module 21, Horrors from the Infinite Horizon, is an adventure for the Maze fantasy RPG that focuses on sword and sorcery style dungeon crawls. Shadow over Gloomshire is an adventure for Dragonbane that tells of a remote village in a dark forest valley with a terrible history. Seas of Sand, is a toolbox-style setting for old-school RPGs that focuses on a desert ocean of liquid sand where during the day ships sail across, and then at night it solidifies, and then you can get out and walk on it. The Domain is a fantasy RPG setting dealing with a land encircled by 2 mountain ranges and a vast sea. It is system neutral. Cubicle 7 has Warhammer Age of Sigmar Soulbound Ruins of Krasnathil. It deals with the ruined township of Krasnathil and the area around it, people within it, etc. Britannia Game Designs has the Celts for Chivalry and Sorcery. It is a supplement that pretty much features the historic Celtic societies. Two Little Mice has Memento Mori, a role-playing game system about dreams and corruption set in medieval Europe during the Black Death. They also have Codex Gigas, an expansion that offers additional material about the setting, creatures, plants, and minerals therein. Chaosium has a Rune Quest, the Glorantha Sourcebook, 2nd edition, which offers an introductory guide to the Bronze Age fantasy world of Glorantha. The new edition contains revised, updated, and expanded content drawn from out of print and rare sources. It also brings it into line with modern RuneQuest titles in terms of rules. They came from the Cyclops' Cave from Onyx Path Publishing, is available in print, an offering in which they came from line of tabletop RPGs. It is meant to invoke fantasy movies and television shows from the 40s onwards. After is a post-apocalyptic steampunk ROSR game. It's set in a world void of technology and civilization where wilderness has once more overrun the world. Time After Time is a time travel adventure for the Mothership sci-fi horror RPG where you must survive chronological horrors, solve mysteries, and save a station from its own recursive fate. Then there's Rockfall, also from Mothership RPG. It details a planet where winds are so strong that the rocks themselves are torn from the ground. There's a mining base on the world which unearths a substance only found there. Finally, there is Twilight Imperium, War for the Throne for the Genesis RPG. It is a supplement that offers a 3-part adventure as well as a number of enemies and other material. With that, let's take a look at crowdfunding campaigns. Remember that contributing to a crowdfunding campaign should be done only at your own risk. Doing so with no guarantee of even receiving a product mentioned here is not an endorsement, but is for informational purposes only. And we'll start with a computer RPG, Eclipse of Elysium. It is a mix of Western and JRPG styles. It has an art style of pixelated characters on a 3-day world. It looks like it will be relatively brief with only 7 hours of playtime. Onward towards tabletop crowdfunding, there's Desolation of Time, a grimdark adventure in Grimoire for 5th edition. It will include 2 source books focusing on grimdark adventuring with new mechanics, including a corruption system, dark rituals and curses, a resurrection rule set, as well as survival mechanics. There will be 10 plus new subclasses, 50 plus new creatures, and various new magic items and more. The Goblin Hunters looks to be a fantasy campaign for 5th edition. It looks like it will be 60 hours of modular campaigning for levels 1 to 10, including new monsters, magic items, and so forth. The campaign will be divided into 3 adventures. Micro Dungeons Vampires Edition looks to fund a number of dungeon crawling adventures for 5th edition with a theme of vampirism, and then, as usual, there'll be like another paired one that's just in general. Adaptable Adventures Volume 1 looks to produce a hardcover book that compiles 3 unique adventures covering levels 1 to 8 of 5th edition play. It looks like these have already been accessible in PDF format elsewhere. It's just for the hardcover compilation of them. Gobblers Level 2 looks to be an RPG module and comic book set following 3 goblins forced to become adventurers. Is suited for the basic rules and picks up after level 1 goblin-based adventure. And comic set previously released and has some really sussy artwork. So if you're thinking this is like made for kids, I'm not sure about that. Anyway, Gateway to Glory is a 5th edition resource that lets you offer a fully illustrated locations and story hooks for various encounters. Each one is designed to help with the creation of random encounters as well as full-fledged adventures. In each book, there are 30 unique locations along with supplementary material and story hooks. The Bloody Bell Boots Boogie looks to be a Fae-based adventure for 5th edition OSR and quest systems. It's meant to be a whimsical adventure module. It follows some murderous redcaps and features the Valley of Secrets where they live. Book of Spirits is a supplement for 5th edition meant to focus on the ethereal spirit world. The source book will include 50+ spirit creatures, various boons and banes, 7+ subclasses and species, a new class, the Conduit, as well as 3 adventures, spiritual environments, and a new mechanic. Beasts and Botanicals Volume 2 is the second of a series of dark folklore-inspired 5th edition books. This one includes information, lore, stats, and so forth for the Vilden of the Grasslands. Wormslayer, it'll be a 5th edition character class meant to slay dragons and absorb their power, like the Dragonborn. Anyway, it is designed to be a mobile combat-oriented martial class with 2 subclasses, various unique weapons, and original lore. You know, it's a pity there's not like a stealth archer-based version. Anyway, Wicked Weirdos looks to include 30+ NPCs for 5th edition and compatible systems. This one is designed to include characters with a full page of background descriptions, motivations, personality, traits, bonds, and so forth, as well as possible plot hooks. Tomes of Terrors, Volume 4, Undead Monsters, looks to be a supplement that includes new undead creatures, each accompanied by a mini and one-shot adventure featuring them. So it looks like this will include a collection of 3 original monsters, again, each with its own adventures. I'm not sure how much of a tome that is, but oh well. Philip Reed has Additional Treasures 5, a supplement for Dragonbane. It's going to be the final entry into a series of treasure cards designed to add material for the Dragonbane role-playing game. Mythmere is looking to produce supplemental rules for Swords and Wizardry and similar OSR games. This one will produce a book of options that offers 11 new optional classes, new spells, new magic items, and so forth, as well as Fiends and Foes, which will compile more than 300 monsters and does not repeat them from the revised core rulebook. And then there's the various adventures suited for the system. It looks like somebody is attempting to fund an update for the Roll20 character sheets for Ars Magica. The 20th anniversary of the system looks to inspire a bit of a collection in order to streamline and update the existing sheet on that site. By the maintainer, it's not just random someone, it's the maintainer of the sheet on the Roll20 site. Anyway, Topple the Tower looks to be a tiny tabletop RPG for 1 to 2 players. It is designed to simply be portable, fun, and whimsical RPG to play solo or with a friend on the fly, dealing with battling your way up a tower. The Laundry role-playing game looks to be an RPG of cosmic horror and tech-driven magic based on the Laundry files. And this one is from Cubicle 7 Games and will use their new in-house system, the C7D6 system. Architerica Imago, I think, The Invitation. It looks like it's going to be a tabletop RPG of conspiracy. Funding will go towards an introductory box set. It is set in the 1800s, so that's where the aesthetic comes in. Manga Minded looks to be a tabletop role-playing game that will allow the playing of various manga and anime-inspired material. It is designed around a world of anime dreams, I guess. Sure. Starlight RPG will be a new tabletop RPG with a space-based sci-fi setting set in the early 22nd century. You play a humanity exploring the great expanse of space. Finally, there is Division 6, an RPG where powerful sorcerers and psychics in a futuristic world. It looks like you're going to be working as agents of law enforcement of an agency called Division 6 that deals with supernatural and paranormal threats in a sci-fi city. With that, I'm going to wrap things up here. This has been the RPG Crawler, my RPG News Roundup for April 13th, 2024. As always, links will be below. If you like what you see, remember to leave a like, comment, guide, feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content. I've been trying to get more reviews out. I got another couple that I got to get back in the queue. Hopefully, we'll get them out pretty soon. I want to do more than one every 2 months because that's kind of ridiculous. And I'll be mixing some video game RPGs into there. I've got one out, Into the Inferno. I got another one coming up. And then I got another one coming up after that I've got to finish playing the games for. That one's going to be a decently solid attempt to get actual content. I will be putting Let's Plays of some of the stuff I put up on the secondary channel as soon as I got them edited. Anyway, until next time, take care and goodbye.
And if you are still watching, I would like to take the opportunity to thank my supporters, the top tiers of which are listed on the screen, without whose support I would not have been able to offer the variety of content that I have on this channel throughout the years. If you're feeling particularly generous and would like to join them, you can support the channel. There are a variety of options to do so. I have a Patreon, a Subscribestar, as well as channel memberships enabled. If you are not in a position to contribute, simply leaving a like, a comment, or sharing my videos are all wonderful ways to help the channel grow without spending a dime, and are all greatly appreciated.